Starting maybe. So hello everyone in the second part of the newspaper session where we are taking the Indian aspects. And the very first news we can see that our champion Neeraj Chopra has again striked javelin and won the gold medal in the Asia Championship which is going on. Then flash floods in Sikkim have been noticed where 5 people have died, 22 soldiers among 42 are still missing. So flash floods is taking place because of a lake outburst in the Lohak Lake in North Sikkim region, and it is a flash flood in the Teesta River basin. The Teesta River is very important trans-boundary river which also comes in India via Sikkim. So
I would like to
and
ask you one question कि how we can ensure कि जो ग्लेशियर लेक आउटबर्स्ट फिनोमेना हैं हम उनको प्रिवेंट कर सके, उसके लिए क्या स्टेप्स लिए जाने चाहिए?
well, the primary step is the global warming को लिमिट किया जाए, climate change को
तो
कंट्रोल किया जाए.
लॉन्ग टर्म हो गया, कैसे एक्चुअली प्रिवेंट कर सकते हैं हम?
So you can tell.
Okay, I've already shared वैसे in the video जब आपने initially join किया था, so I would like to say कि because ये जो phenomena है main reason इसके पीछे है the melting of the Himalayan glaciers. So we need to firstly identify using our satellite data कि कहाँ पे ऐसी lakes form हो रही है because of melting of the glaciers. ये identification के बाद we need to go ahead with the water management of these lakes, क्योंकि अगर suppose it is not just because of the melting of glaciers, it can also happen because of cloudburst phenomena also. So management of water in such lakes becomes important in order to prevent this phenomena in future.
Okay, so I have an intern question then.
Okay.
How you will control the cloudburst?
No, I'm not saying controlling cloudburst. मैं बोल रही हूँ कि जो melting of glaciers की वजह से water आ रहा है, ऐसी lakes बन रही है, form हो रही है, पहले आप उनको identify करोगे कहाँ पे बन रही है ऐसी लेक्स, और जो वाटर फ्लो हो रहा है उस वाटर को आप कैसे मैनेज कर रहे हो, आप कैसे इंश्योर कर रहे हो कि कितनी वाटर कैपेसिटी है, क्या वो वाटर लेवल इतना पहुंच चुका है कि अगर सपोज क्लाउड बर्स्ट हो जाता है तो क्या वो फिनोमेना होगा नहीं होगा, मतलब क्या वो डिजास्टर की सिचुएशन क्रिएट कर सकते हैं, तो उस वाटर को आप कैसे मैनेज कर रहे हो, वाटर को आप रिलीज करने के लिए कुछ फैसिलिटीज क्रिएट कर सकते हो, एंड अकॉर्डिंगली जो आगे वाले मतलब पाथ में कहीं ना कहीं डैम्स भी कंस्ट्रक्ट किए गए होंगे, तो वहां पे भी वाटर मैनेजमेंट ऑफ द रिजर्वॉयर्स दैट बिकम्स इंपॉर्टेंट. तो मैं ये नहीं कह रही कि क्लाउड बर्स्ट को तो हम रोक ही नहीं सकते, वो हमारे हाथ में है ही नहीं.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so now we can move to another topic, move forward.
So we can take this matter of UGC on the.
Okay, wait.
And this matter also that Supreme Court pulls up the Punjab.
Okay, we can take up this one first.
Yeah. So here the matter is of Punjab and Haryana regarding the SYL canal, which is a disputed concern between these two states, over which the Supreme Court timely provides its statements. So the full form is Satluj Yamuna Link Canal, and it is pulled up the Punjab government for not completing the construction for its part of the canal. So what actually the matter is, the Supreme Court timely says to both the states to put some sort of construction activities for the canal. The Haryana government has actively and proactively, I would say, have done it, but the Punjab government has not done it. And Punjab government always have a negative stance and claim the water of this canal on the basis of its monopoly, we can say, which have been criticized by the Haryana. The bench was referring to 2002 decree in Haryana's favor on a suit filed by state against the Punjab, where the Supreme Court directed that construction of the canal should be done. And then Punjab government had a statement that you will have to find a solution. Don't compel us to find troublesome orders. So what actually we are seeing that this matter has been very much debated and is an example of federalism where the center and state needs to proactively sort out this matter to provide the water availability in a sufficient manner to both the states. So I think the judiciary's verdict as well as the central government needs to collaborate with both the states on this matter. So now
Yeah.
we can take up the matter.
Okay,
Yeah, you
where?
want to ask some?
No, nothing. I don't want to ask any.
Okay. Appointment of
Where is the another issue that you're highlighting?
above that it was above the circumstantial. Yeah. No, just above the Satluj Canal matter, which we just talked.
Okay.
Yeah, here it is. So, appointment of vice chancellors is in violation of norms and not valid. It is a statement given by UGC to Tamil Nadu. In Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and in other states also, the appointment of vice chancellor by the governor of the state has been very much in debated. So, let's look what actually it is. So, selection of vice chancellors to the University of Madras has happened where Madmala Jagdish have been appointed as VC in violation of UGC regulation as per the UGC standards. Selection for this post should be through proper identification by a panel of 3 to 5 persons recommended by search committee. So we have a very systematic provisions for this appointment. But one member shall be nominated by the chairman of the UGC for selection of vice chancellors, and appointment, if happens in violation, will not be valid, will be null and void. So the governor of state had first announced that the committee comprising the nominee of UGC chairman, omitting the nominee, the Tamil Nadu government had retained 3 or 4 members who were part of the earlier panel announced by Governor R.N. Ravi in a gazette notification. So what is happening that there are some provisions and norms have been laid by UGC to standardize the appointment of vice chancellors, but because of the strained relations between the governor and the executive government lies in the states, the state governments have some uh, statements in the composition of this committee as well as the search committee, and the governor also, in the basis of his discretionary power, sometimes found that he includes some persons discretionary, which leads to various discretions in this appointment and leads to non-efficiency in the appointment process.
So herein basically much more transparency in terms of how basically what process has been used for appointing the VCs. If that is made much more transparent, then we can again get to know where violation is happening and where it is not.
No, I think the major problem is not of transparency, because if transparency would not have been there, so this matter would not have been come in the limelight. I think the major problem is that the strained relations between the governor and the executive government or the CM-led government. So they should try to understand that in the education and in the healthcare, I mean, in the basic facilities, the politics should not play a major role, and the proper standards should be added to even by the governor as well as by the CM-led government.
Yeah, so this is basically one of, we can say, the multiplier effects out of the tussle between the governor and the chief minister of the state. तो उसका impact यहाँ पे भी देखने को मिल रहा है.
Yeah. So on the pension scheme, we can have a on the above page. So this is written that government should not be guided by short-term political gains from proposed shift to lower but assured pension scheme. So the demand for the old pension have been traced out in Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Punjab, and Himachal, where the non-BJP government actually are working on. The Union Finance Ministry formed a committee headed by Finance Secretary T.V. Somanathan to look into the issue. And the committee will consider any charges on the new pension scheme and will try to ensure the fiscal prudence. But the similar things have not been taken into consideration by the states. The states have assured pension that is linked to the minimum level of pay, as we talked numerous times. that in the old pension system, the last drawn salary half was used to given to the pensioners. So the difference between OPS and NPS is stark. According to recent study by the RBI, burden of switching again to the old pension would be roughly 4.5 times that of NPS, and that is definitely going to have some fiscal deficiency as far as the fiscal responsibility of the central government is concerned, and it will breach the FRBM targets as well as leads to minimizing our GDP by 2060. It will have a more burden. So the government must resist the temptation of short-term fiscal and political gains and take into consideration the long-term implications of their policies. But actually here, I think the
Okay.
pension is I think a matter of state list. So the state governments actually can go for this unless and until a resolution is being passed against the old pension scheme.
So what like sustainable alternative are you going to suggest for this issue? मतलब क्या करना चाहिए? Because people are supporting, they want the old pension scheme, but government जो fiscal prudence की हम बात करते हैं, it is focusing upon the new pension scheme. So क्या किया जाना चाहिए?
Well, I think there are multiple angles. According to some people, there are projections, and according to them, the government should provide a minimum amount of annual income to all the beneficiaries who actually deserve the beneficiary status from the government. For an example, the Congress party also used to say that we will give around 75,000 per annum to every people who belongs to the below poverty line or somewhat above poverty line. But actually, according to some financial agencies, there are some problems and loopholes will come into that, because that will lead to non-productivity in the society. Once the people will get the money, they will not actually contribute to the GDP and to the manufacturing and industrial sectors. So that is also we can't do. The second option which we have is that we should try to stop all the governance mechanism which are going in the form of free subsidy in the gas, in the electricity, ration, food. And in lieu of that, we should provide a minimum amount per month to the family so that they can buy all these items from a consumer based market. But I think that is also not going to happen, because then the private sector will have some sort of monopoly, and there are chances that you know the inflation will go to a very high sky. So as far as the current solution is concerned, so we should provide NPS on pan India level, and the level of NPS which is currently given, that should be increased rather than going for the old pension scheme, which actually gives you a lot of amount, which is your half of the last known salary. So that is very unsustainable as far as the current India is concerned.
Okay, so Heron, yesterday also we took up one of the solutions can be the Andhra Pradesh model, the pension scheme that they have implemented, that it is a combination of both the old pension and the new pension scheme. So they have picked up specific elements of both the schemes and then again combined a new alternative to it. So that can be looked into, because that is performing really nicely and people are also not opposing to the provisions, the features of that. Apart from this, जब हम बात करते हैं why people they are like basically demanding so much of pension, इतना फाइनेंशियल सिक्योरिटी या फाइनेंशियल प्लानिंग की इंपॉर्टेंस लोगों को पता होनी चाहिए, जो कि अगेन दे लैक द अवेयरनेस. तो वहां पे हम फाइनेंशियल प्लानिंग, फाइनेंशियल सिक्योरिटी की इंपॉर्टेंस की बात कर सकते हैं, एंड हाउ दे कैन बी फाइनेंशियली सिक्योर इवन इन दी फ्यूचर, बेसिकली ड्यूरिंग देयर ओल्ड एज ऑल्सो. तो फाइनेंशियल प्लानिंग ज्यादा हेल्प कर सकते हैं. दिस वुड ऑल्सो हेल्प अस इन रैशनलाइजेशन द रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर ऑल्सो, कि आने वाले टाइम में फिर ग्रेजुअली द रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ पेंशन वुड डिक्लाइन. तो एक मतलब the pension amount can be rationally reduced in future if we work on financial planning.
And along with that, what we can do is the government employees who are working and getting sufficient amount during their tenure, a sufficient amount of their salary, a minimum amount of their salary should go for the credit supply into the financial sector, so that in the form of gratuity, so that they can avail a maximum amount during the retirement period, and they can do this financial planning.
Okay, मतलब I not very clear about क्या आपने बोला कि credit में जाना चाहिए कुछ amount, credit में in the sense?
For an example, every employee, every formal employee used to contribute from his income some sort of amount for the
And
gratuity funds, for the PF funds. So
okay.
I am saying that those government employees who are demanding these old pension schemes, a somewhat larger amount of their salary should go into these funds so that post retirement they can actually get this fund and they can do their financial planning rather than demanding this much amount of old pension scheme. Because in the defense sector currently we are also not having pensions, so we can't actually provide to the civil society such a leverage to have this kind of pension system.
Yes.
So we can take about this disaster on the Sikkim in a little bit detail. So we have a central water commission to measure such kind of things, and district level authorities also. What are the glacial lakes? These are the large bodies of water which in the front or the top or the beneath of the melting glaciers. They are dammed by unstable ice or sediments composed of loose rocks and debris, which basically more dangerous as they grow bigger, as a lot of moraines of glacial dust and moraines gets collected, and that chalk out the lake valleys. The breach in the lake well leads to a huge amount of water rushing down the mountains, causing a glacial lake outburst floods. It can be triggered by several reasons, including earthquakes, heavy rain, avalanches, and earthquake that hit Nepal might be a cause of this flooding itself. Then Chorabari Tal Glacial Lake, it caused a very disastrous glacial lake outburst and very several deaths in the state of Uttarakhand in 2013. With rising global temperatures, as it is an implication of the rising climate change, glaciers in Sikkim Himalayas have been melting, giving rise to the expansion of the lakes. And currently, according to the estimate, more than 300 several lakes have been identified as vulnerable for the outburst floods. The South Lohanak Lake has been under observation for years. Mapping कर सकते हैं हम glacial lakes की, as she mentioned very clearly in the very beginning, with the help of GIS system, satellites, and then on the basis of that we can plan out at what are the basic disaster management mechanisms we can incorporate to prevent the destruction of life, property, and obviously our biological diversity.
तो इवन जब हम यहाँ बात कर रहे कि इट कैन हैपन बिकॉज ऑफ अर्थक्वेक्स आल्सो, सो इसके लिए भी जब हम डिजास्टर प्रिपेयर्डनेस की बात करते हैं तो जो हमारी कंस्ट्रक्शन एक्टिविटीज हैं ऐसी लोकेशंस पे होनी चाहिए कि अगर सपोज फ्यूचर में अर्थक्वेक हो रहा है उसकी वजह से वी आर हैविंग द ग्लेशियर लेक आउटबर्स्ट, तो इट इज नॉट इम्पैक्टिंग द ह्यूमन हैबिटेशंस. सो ऐसी लोकेशंस आइडेंटिफाई की जानी चाहिए. So that would be again
Yeah, I
falling
think,
for
but
a
you,
planned urbanization
but
model.
but on a very big level, actually we can't go for this. The reason being, today when we are focusing on the infra creation for obviously domestic purposes as well as for the international security purpose, especially the neighborhood of China. So we are constructing a large number of roads, large number of tunnels, large number of dams to control the water. So this mechanism on a very wide level, on such a level, will not be feasible to do so, because at all we have to take these steps to ensure our domestic and international security. But yes, the early weather forecasting system, we can take a help of them as GIS based system, the disaster precautions measure, preventions measures, and along with that, the importance can be taken of, I think, international, disaster surveillance mechanisms which we have with different countries.
Okay.
So, as we are saying that the Nobel prizes have been being provided to various, normal people because of their endeavors in different fields. So, quantum dots, discovery and synthesizes have been given in the chemistry section to these three people: Moy G. Davindi, Louis E. Bruce, and Alexei Ikimov. So, what is quantum dots? The deviant behavior of small nanoparticles arises because of the emergence of quantum effects. So, the motions and behavior of very small particles like electrons are radically different things when compared. Quantum theory is developed by the physicists 100 years ago, nanoparticles are much larger compared with atoms. Depending on the size of the atoms, the nanoparticles can pack. And today, when we are seeing that in the cancer-like treatments, in the TB-like treatment, in the heart transplant system, we are actually using the nanoparticles technologies, the nanotechnologies, the nanotube technology. So obviously, these chemistries, innovations, and productive development is gonna help the rising healthcare sector, especially, and various other infrastructure. Nano-sized particles that behave slightly differently than large particles of the same element. So this much we can take a look in this article. On the world page, what we can see is that in a message to India, the president-elect of Maldives says foreign troops must go. So definitely, as my companion Mansi told before 2 days, that definitely this person is going to have anti-Indian stance. So he has actually started the phenomenon where he's saying to the Indian government to actually bring back the foreign troops. So the people told us that they don't want foreign military. This is a statement by the Maldives president, and so now it is India, with traditionally close relations to Malay, denies that assertion and is helping to build a naval harbor for the Maldivian forces to be trained by its military. But I think if the New Delhi is actually hosting our defense forces in the Maldives base for the naval harbor in cooperation with the Maldives forces, so if the Maldives president is saying so, we should not actually wait and we should bring back our forces, because that is also a question or the dignity of our defense forces personnel.
And
Because
definitely
if no government wants,
जो मेन पर्पस ऑफ स्टेशनिंग मिलिट्री था दैट वाज नॉट अगेन सम सिक्योरिटी पर्पस के लिए सो दिस इज गोइंग टू अगेन इम्पैक्ट आवर इकोनॉमिक रिलेशंस राइट नाउ एज वेल सो इंडियन ऑफिशियल्स overall I might think they are saying this in the context ki we are having a wait and watch situation in terms of ki again kya new government policies announce ki jayengi and then accordingly India would be having its own stance.
yeah. So center hikes LPG subsidy for Ujjwala beneficiaries by 50%. This is a very important news as far as the Ujjwala subsidy and Ujjwala Yojana is concerned. So Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana by rupees 100 per 14.2 kg cylinders to rupees 300 have been increased. The decision is to expect benefit 9.6 crore households. So obviously we have a data of the beneficiaries. So the government announced a price cut of rupees 200 per cylinder for all domestic liquefied petroleum gas under this Yojana. Role in taking LPG coverage to near saturation in India. The key objective is to discourage the poor households from using conventional cooking fuels like firewood, which cause a household pollution and have an adverse impact on their health. But don't you think, Mansi, that in the remote areas, in the village areas, there are two issues which have been come. Number one is that the Ujjwala subsidy, which is being provided to the provided in the remote areas, still people are not using, and still people are using the conventional fuels on the remark that the conventional fuels are good for the health.
No, so that is again we need to address जो awareness generation है या the myth that they have regarding this thing. But overall अगर मैं बात करूँ, ठीक है, this is one aspect कि remote areas तक if we are not able to penetrate, but since we are saying कि again saturation level भी हम achieve कर चुके हैं, तो थोड़ी बहुत discrepancy हो सकती है. But when we talk about currently 9.6 crore households, they are covered under the scheme, so that's a huge number. So when we say कि subsidy increase कर दी गई है, तो in the short term since we are again facing with the challenge of inflation, तो ये help कर सकता है consumers को, so that उनकी थोड़ी purchasing power में we can say कि थोड़ा again उनको relaxation feel हो सकता है, it can be relaxed and वो amount कहीं और use कर सकते हैं in terms of meeting their consumption demands. But long term में we need to focus upon how subsidy हम reduce कर सकते हैं. So इसके लिए again we need to be energy secure country या energy surplus country, so that supply हमारे पास इतना हो कि जो actual market price है वो sufficiently low हो, या again वो as a we can't say कि pressure create करे in the form of inflation on the consumers. इसके अलावा when we talk about rationalization of subsidies, so herein when we talk about green energy transition also, so ऐसे fuels specifically जब हम pipe natural gas supply की बात करते हैं, तो there in that infrastructure can be created, and साथ ही साथ when we say कि जो पर कैपिटा इनकम है इंडिया में वो इतना लो है। अगर हम बात करते हैं इंडिया फिफ्थ लार्जेस्ट इकोनॉमी इन द वर्ल्ड एंड कंपैरेटिवली जो हमारी पर कैपिटा इनकम है दैट इज कंपैरेटिवली वेरी लो। तो वहां पे स्कोप एग्जिस्ट करते हैं। व्हाट मेजर्स आर वी टेकिंग इन ऑर्डर टू इंश्योर कि जो हमारी पर कैपिटा इनकम है अगर वो इंक्रीज हो जाएगी तो आई डोंट थिंक सो कि सब्सिडी की इतनी ज्यादा रिक्वायरमेंट बचेगी इकोनॉमी में। तो एज अ शॉर्ट
आपको
टर्म
लगता है मतलब कि पर कैपिटा इनकम इंडिया में जहाँ इतनी इनइक्वालिटी है और इकोनॉमिक इनइक्वालिटी है और आज भी लोग डोमिनेंट बेसिस पे रिमोट एरियाज में रहते हैं और मनरेगा जैसी सब्सिडीज को यूज करते हैं कि पर कैपिटा उनका इनकम उनकी आपको लगता है कि मतलब इतनी आसानी से बढ़ सकती है मतलब?
नहीं, आसानी से और डिफिकल्टी का तो स्कोप ही नहीं है ना। वो बढ़ाना इम्पोर्टेंट है और वो इंक्रीज करना इम्पोर्टेंट है। जब आप बात करते हो $5 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी क्रिएशन द टारगेट, तो जो मेन प्रॉब्लम है इकोनॉमिक इनइक्वालिटी को उसको एड्रेस करना इम्पोर्टेंट है। तो डिफिकल्ट और इजी का तो सवाल ही नहीं उठता। इट इज गोइंग टू टेक टाइम बट
क्या मुझे
सोल्यूशन।
4 एरिया बता सकते हैं कि हमारे विलेज जो है उनकी पर कैपिटा इनकम बढ़ जाए?
ओके, विलेजेस के लिए सो एज वी टॉक अबाउट क्रिएशन ऑफ स्मार्ट विलेजेस कॉन्सेप्ट, तो सबसे ज्यादा जो पोटेंशियल एग्जिस्ट करता है व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट एम्प्लॉयमेंट अपॉर्चुनिटीज क्रिएट करना इन द विलेजेस। सो हेयर वी कैन टॉक अबाउट द livelihoods that can be created more in I'm not getting that word, मतलब in animal husbandry that can be
आप कहना चाह रही हैं मतलब कि डेयरी डेयरी पोल्ट्री ये सब चीजें?
हाँ, मतलब एनिमल हस्बेंड्री में अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस जो नॉन फार्म सेक्टर जॉब्स हैं दैट कैन बी एक्सप्लोर्ड। मतलब वहां पे जो मेन प्रॉब्लम है ऑफ disguised unemployment in the agriculture sector, so that can be explored. Apart from this मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर की जब हम पोटेंशियल की बात करते हैं तो वहां पे भी अगर हम रूरल एरियाज में वी आर सेटिंग अप मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट्स तो मोर जॉब्स कैन बी क्रिएटेड ओवर देयर। सो दीज आर सम ऑफ द एरियाज वेयर अगेन वी कैन।
और इंडस्ट्रीज की ही बात करें तो एमएसएमईज के लिए हम जाएंगे सबसे पहला तो विलेजेस में, तो उसमें भी कौन कौन से ऐसे एरियाज हैं जो हमारे विलेज की एम्पावरमेंट कर सकते हैं पर कैपिटा इनकम बढ़ाने में, अगर कुछ आप बता सके तो?
स्पेसिफिकली एमएसएमईज में तो फर्स्टली सेक्टर्स ही आइडेंटिफाई करना कि डिफरेंट विलेजेस के अगेन अपनी खुद की पोटेंशियल होगी किसी पर्टिकुलर प्रोजेक्ट में। तो अगर एमएसएमईज उनकी प्रोडक्शन उनकी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के ऊपर बेस्ड होगी तो वहां पे वी कैन एक्सप्लोर। एंड साथ ही साथ जैसे हम प्रमोट भी कर रहे हैं वन डिस्ट्रिक्ट वन प्रोडक्ट, तो वहां पे एमएसएमईज इंपॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले कर सकती हैं। एंड अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस जब हम बात करते हैं इवन सोशल सिक्योरिटी बेनिफिट्स जो वर्कर्स है एमएसएमईज में, तो कुछ ये बाकी सेकेंडरी एरियाज हो गए जिन पे फोकस करना इम्पोर्टेंट है। एंड आई थिंक दिस इज व्हाट आई वुड लाइक टू पुट इन राइट नाउ।
Okay, so in the animal husbandry part, I would like to cite that the white revolution, which was seen especially in the state of Gujarat under the Amul Corporation, same kind of thing has been witnessed in the state of Punjab by the Warka Corporation. So I think state-wise, such kind of you know animal husbandry sector should be used by different state governments to harbor and to harness the potential of the villages, especially the economic empowerment, so that the per capita income can increase. Then in the MSME sector, the textile sector, the minute products, for an example, we have handicrafts. Then we have areas like preparation of candles, agarbattis, and so these kind of areas where the government is actually supporting,
Even
so they
like
can.
okay, you can
Yeah.
complete first.
No, you speak.
ओके, सो माय पॉइंट इज कि हम इवन फूड प्रोसेसिंग सेक्टर में भी यहाँ पे एक तरीके से न्यूली इनोवेटिव आइडिया इम्प्लीमेंट कर सकते हैं कि जो हमें इवन न्यूट्रिशनल सिक्योरिटी को एड्रेस करने में हेल्प कर सकते हैं। दैट इज विलेजेस में वी नो अबाउट सर्टेन फूड डेलिकेसीज एंड हर एक विलेज की वो स्पेशलाइजेशन हो सकती है। तो फूड प्रोसेसिंग इंडस्ट्री अलॉन्ग विद उस फूड डेलिकेसी को आइडेंटिफाई करना ईच विलेज में, उसको हम अगेन पैन इंडिया लेवल पे भी और इंटरनेशनल लेवल पे भी उसको एक्सपोर्ट भी कर सकते हैं। सो एक ये इन अ वे इट कैन ब्रिंग इन रेवोल्यूशन आल्सो द विलेज लेवल। और न्यूट्रिशनल सिक्योरिटी भी उसके थ्रू एड्रेस की जा सकती है बिकॉज द फूड व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट द विलेज फूड सो दैट इज डेफिनेटली मोर न्यूट्रिशनली एनरिच्ड कंपेयर टू अगेन द जंक फूड एंड द फूड हैबिट्स दैट वी हैव इन द अर्बन एरियाज।
Yeah. So GST on e-gaming, we have number of times strong the government is going to have, and it is going to consolidate loans larger as small players may lose out, barriers to the new entrants. RBI forms an external working group for ECL based framework. So what is it? It is an expected credit loss framework, which have been framed out by the RBI. So RBI sought comments on this from various regulatory authorities, and the working group will be chaired by this. So let's actual this ESL based framework. Let's come in the picture, then we will talk on it in detail. So today we are seeing that post the javelin gold the India got with the achievement of our sportsman Neeraj Chopra. Today we are seeing the rise in the javelin like sports, and yesterday itself our Prime Minister commented and stressed on the idea that our villages should come ahead in the sports area. So here also we can use the sports industries and sports programs to actually increase the per capita income so that the players from villages can lead into various sports fields, so that it leads to more sports creation infra in the villages in the form of stadiums, in the form of gymnasiums and many others, so that the people get jobs and the potential of the village.
And in some areas also, like there's one more problem of the diets that they have to have. So uske liye bhi they don't have sufficient amount of money. So even that can be ensured by the government. So iske alawa we are having different games also, Khelo India and different sports, maybe how we can now promote women's participation also. So that can also make a huge difference as well.
So what do you think that in India we should take steps to have more goals?
See, firstly would be in, as we said just कि village areas पे focus करना important है. तो village areas में सबसे पहले infrastructure होना चाहिए. When you talk about training, having those high end, professional equipments available होने चाहिए. तो that is also one of the major problems जो हमारे sports person या growing sports person को face करना पड़ता है. Apart from this, जैसे मैंने mention किया, their diet and the food habits that they have to follow a proper diet plan. So that is important. And जो हमारे जो specifically एक unique चीज मैं बोलूंगी हमारे sports person में होती है, जो हमारी mental strength है, that is very strong. And specifically village areas में ऐसे मतलब youth है जो बहुत ज़्यादा we can say कि mentally strong है despite so many hurdles they have come on the top. So how that can be again leverage जो उनकी mental health strength है वो इंडिया में हम कैसे उस चीज को spread कर सकते हैं जो again हमें बाकी economic dimensions में growth करने में help कर सकते हैं.
Okay. So along with that, I would like to add on that the institutional problems which we have in the form of federations, in the form of management of the sports industries and sport regulatory authorities, we will not take the name as such, but there are corruptions, there are incidences of nepotism, chiefs done in the regulatory authorities, where the dopings allegations have been timely cited out, where the caste-based affiliations in the sports industries have been cited out. So these are the various challenges which the government needs to take into account. And especially we had the cases of the football authority, which was banned by FIFA to enter into the FIFA qualifying championships. So we can actually have some attention on these issues so that we can improve the life and the hardships and hard work which our sports persons are investing in the sports in the name of country for the medals to be won in the name of our country, that is Bharat. So today we have this much in this newspaper. Thank you so much. We'll meet tomorrow on next newspaper. Stay with us and keep watching. Thank you so much.